made about $30,000 today across SPX calls, Tesla calls. I'll just break down my SPX position and really the Tesla position, talk about those two, and just CPI in general. So a lot of information in this video. What is up, guys? So a few things. Super duper tired. I was in Chicago last week. We had a great week in the Discord. We had some great call outs. I'm actually going to review, because I'm late, life has been crazy. I literally did a live webinar today. In this video, I'm going to do a review of CPI, which just happened today. It was an amazing day, but also because it relates to another video I did where I talked about fading the data candle. So I want to talk about why I didn't fade this candle. What were the signs to go long, both in bookmap and in terms of price action, as well as the macro setup. So how that all fits together, why I went long. I made about $30,000 today across SPX calls, Tesla calls. I'll just break down my SPX position and really the Tesla position, talk about those two, and just CPI in general. So a lot of information in this video. If you want these calls live, if you want to see how we're swing trading, when to account for the different divergences in the market and how to ultimately come up with one thesis. One of the things I always talk about in all my videos is that you have to layer these decisions, right? And the simplest way to think about the layers is higher time frame to lower time frame, right? So always trust your higher time frame thesis. You will inevitably do much better. Usually people are right on the price target when it comes to higher time frame analysis, and then they're just wrong on the timing. Your timing will get better over time, but that's generally what I've seen, not just anecdotally with my own experience, but also just talking to and working with other traders, right? A lot of people, they'll say, oh, I think it's gonna get plus 200 points in 2 weeks, and then it goes there in 10 days, or it goes there in 21 days. But it goes exactly to the price, and then it makes its next cycle. So account for that when you're trading. Let me go ahead and open up my laptop and let's take a look. I'm gonna pre-apologize for losing my voice because I've done an exceptional amount of in real life talking this week. And even though it's my literal job, it's tough. Oh, quick intermission. Guys, we're up to 2,800 subscribers on the channel. Shout out to each and every one of you who has trusted me, really just with your time. Obviously, if you join the Discord, we had a lot of people make money. It's not everybody's making money, right? We're not gonna say that everybody, there's a lot of traders at various stages in their journeys. If you would have followed our call outs today, or yesterday, or this week, you certainly would have made a lot of money, but ultimately we all own our decisions. But if you wanna be a part of that, you can join our Discord. When you sign up at wap.com/tradeedge, there is a 3-day free trial. I'm telling you guys, come see for yourself what we're about. No games, no gimmicks. I literally threaten to ban people if they don't take it seriously. The $200 a month, that is the fee. The membership fee it's not zero. I understand it's not peanuts, but the fee is there to make this worth both of our time. We're 100% about helping people. I will help you. Literally, I will go to the end of the earth to help you guys, but you have to take it seriously. And you can see for yourself if it's worth it with a 3-day free trial. So I want to throw that in there. Also subscribe if you're new here. Yeah, there's profits in there. I made $30,000 again today, blah, 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 blah. End of commercial. All right, so we're into the meat. If you don't know what TradingView is, this is a charting tool that's up on the screen right now. It's the best charting tool. I highly recommend that you use it for all of your charting. Every single broker has charting. A lot of the brokers have limitations around charting, or there's just the performance with the chart inside of the broker. Brokers are pretty heavyweight software. There's a lot of functions in there. Some of them are like legacy, written in Java. Don't have to go into the technicals, have an engineering background, but use your broker to trade, to buy and sell, and use a charting tool to chart. Thank me later, save a lot of time. TradingView, I don't have any affiliate or anything with them. It's literally just the best tool. So we're gonna use it. Don't worry about it. All the stuff you see, it's really not nearly as complicated as it looks, guys. This is stuff you can learn in like a day or two if you just take the time to sit down to it. What I have on the screen right now is a template that I've made called all time frames, and each window here is a different time frame of just ES, just the one chart. This isn't the only screen that I have up. I'll often have another screen called August 9th. I just haven't renamed it, but that is, let's pull it up just so you can see why I talk about it. So this one is just a 3 chart where I usually have ES on the 15-minute. I'll keep NQ on the 15-minute, and this is a floater chart. So these are my 2 primary screens. Again, I made it on August 9th, and then I just kept using it. I could rename it. See here, I have NVIDIA, which was another one of my swing trades that we had pulled up. So today was CPI, and this is actually the perfect chart to start on. Let's start with the ES 15-minute chart. Go ahead and just expand it and zoom in. So obviously, we don't need to talk about what happened. We can see it on the screen. We had a 104-point day on ES. A lot of people got smoked today by buying puts. And the reason that they've been buying puts is if we zoom out to the 8 hour, which we can do by typing 8H, we can see that we have a lot of green, an exceptional amount of green. Let's clean up our screen a little bit. Clean up our screen, get rid of the green. I'm sorry guys. A lot of green. So because we have this green here, a lot of people, and then this green here, a lot of people were saying there's no way we go higher. Anytime you're ever saying there's no way we could do something, and it's not based off of analysis, it's based off of feels like a lot, so there's no way it can do a lot more, you're probably gonna be wrong. I can tell you from experience, the market loves to go for max pain. So one of the things you actually hear us say in our Discord when we're doing analysis is like, what would be absolute max pain based off of what we're seeing with sentiment and things like that. We also have this flag form right here. So we had like this flagging formation. Technically, this is kind of like an open megaphone on this time frame, but then we had this little flag right there. So two different formations. But let's actually talk about the volume profile and why we were looking for longs in our Discord and why we've always had this macro thesis. So in one of my videos, I can't remember what it is. I was talking about something else. I literally always just break down what I see when I'm doing these videos. I talked about going for the sweep of this liquidity here. Again, a liquidity sweep means that we go to the price. So we go to the price and then we sweep it up, we go through it. So I was originally looking for a sweep of this 43.30. You see it's still aligned on my chart. It's marked here at 44.29.75. We swept that, but we had this flag going into it. So we had this flag going into it. And in general, we have this kind of flagging megaphone pennant thing on the macro. And we also have the macro volume profile. So across all of these different time frames, if we go back to, let's actually just switch to my daily time frame. So same chart, we're going to expand the daily chart where I have these lines. Exact same time series here. We're just looking at the daily now. We can see kind of how I've charted this here. So first call out on the daily time frame, you can see that the next line that I've drawn here is up at 4,600. Technically 45.9950. It's on the daily, so I don't worry about being plus or minus 5 points. What we're really cared about is this gap here. So my thesis right now is upside. It's been upside. We got to here, it was still upside because there's nothing on the daily time frame in terms of volume and price that makes us think that this should reverse. There's absolutely nothing here. So we had this candle here, which came down to this liquidity area. I would have to go back and replay this to see what the volume profile looked at this point in time. But since we did not get any continuation here, this is the sign, this candle here, as soon as we engulfed, this is the sign that we're going higher. Full steam, going higher. We're not going to sweep this up. This candle formation, let me make this really clear. With this candle formation right here, there's no way that we're going to reverse on this. And you have to think, guys, Sol mentions this a lot in Discord. A friend of mine, and really probably one of the best traders I've ever met. He talks about this all the time. And it's a good thing to think about. Think about the candle formations that you typically see and what's likely to happen next. What is really likely to happen next? I know it seems random and erratic, but it really is not. The market likes to replay itself. It's very fractal in nature, and you can start to get intuition across every time frame. Price action is the same across every time frame. You get intuition about what's going to happen next. So just think about that. So in any case, to summarize this part of the video, we have this macro long thesis. So thus CPI is coming up around November 3rd, which was, if we go to where was November 3rd? So Friday, November 3rd, I entered into SPX November 24th, 4550 calls and 4600 calls based off of what I was seeing at the time. So let's actually just go back to that date, Friday, November 3rd. So we close here. This is what we see. And this is all playing into CPI, I promise. So November 3rd, we're down here at, 4340. Yeah, 4330. Sorry, I was thinking 4430. So we hit this area, green. I'm not looking for a reversal. There's really nothing here that's making me think that we're going to reverse. At this time, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a little bit of pullback, but I'm not squeezing pennies on a swing trade. So November 24th swing calls was the position I was in. Those calls hit 800% today, by the way, right? So that was a really big trade. CPI, obviously CPI happened. I made 800% on a swing trade. And that's just based off of the macro thesis. And really the point that I want to make here, and the primary point of this video and all this setup that I've been talking about, analyzing this price action and yada, is these data events, guys, are always going to play into the macro narrative. Talked about not trading the news before, all the different things, how you could, fade these candles and things like that. But regardless of what you want to happen, you have to always remember the macro narrative. So when we got to CPI today, I'm thinking of what does the market need to do? It's very unlikely with today, with where we were in terms of price action, that we were going to get a pullback. And so there's two things that kind of showed that we weren't going to get that. So we had this green here. This is the 15-minute chart, and I'm just zooming in. We had this green, and then look at this formation. It retested this, we have this top wick here, and then we retested it and punched through. We didn't reject at that price. If we rejected right at the top of this wick, right here, I'll do an option J, that would have been a pretty good signal that we're gonna return. I've seen that before. But again, think about how candles form. We punched through, we engulfed that wick, and then we did this flagging pattern. We're riding up this band. So immediately I'm thinking alarm bells are going off. Yeah, this isn't one of those days where we come back and you can actually fade the candle. I actually did a whole video and talk about fading these candles. Works pretty often. This is one of the times it did not work. And I did that by just having general market awareness. Also the book at the time, which I can't pull up right now, book map level 2 data was showing that we wanted to go higher. A lot of confluence for higher. So even though I have this play in my playbook where you just fade this back to the open and then the market will do whatever it does. And so yeah, fade this back to the open and then the market will, you know, do something like this. I got a ton of signals that this wasn't going to happen. So the move was just to go long. I missed this entire play, by the way, in futures. I missed this entire play in futures. I was long overnight, sold at 9.29 because I wanted to lock in profits, which was a terrible mistake. So not a great trade, but one of the other reasons that I sold though was because I had so much capital tied up in calls, which is where I made my 30K from. So between my SPX calls, my Tesla calls, ended up making a good amount of money. So let's just talk about Tesla really quick in terms of a swing thesis. We'll look at the Tesla one day and look at this. And I think I actually did some charting on Tesla already. I did. Yep, here it is. So here's some lines I drew on Tesla on the daily. I've got the 4-hour volume profile. So before we got to this price, there was really two lines I was looking at. So we had this area here, and then we also had we had this wedging pattern. We're coming up to this node, which I have marked here at this price, 23.40. And really my hypothesis was that this was going to break on the retest of this line, which it did, come through, and we were going to go to the next higher time frame target, which in this case is this price up here. We can actually go to the daily. Maybe that'll give us a clear picture. Cool, and it does. So what is this? Yeah, possible next macro target. Yeah, so this is, I forgot if I put this, right? So basically thinking if we sweep this here, we might go up and do something crazy all the way up here. And you can get some more intuition by going to the 1 week and the 1 month even, and you can get that clear picture. And so that's the monthly is really what's telling me how we're going to go here. So when you come up with these theses on the higher time frame, ultimately what that will allow you to do is get these really big wins on these day-to-days just by trading into data or ignoring them. In a sense today, I kind of did both on accident. So I was already in swing calls based off my macro thesis. CPI and these data events, all the price action happens inside of a day. So in that case, you're ignoring them. You're completely ignoring the price action. I didn't take any zero DTEs for CPI or anything around it. The only thing I traded in terms of today was futures, which I did not do well on at all. But at the same time, because of my macro thesis, CPI moved in my favor heavily, and I got that 800% win on my SPX position. So I had calls. The entire market generally moved up because ES is an index. So there's a lot of confluence between what I was seeing in Tesla, and between the things that we were seeing in AMD. Right, the AMD chart looks like it wants to reclaim this node right here, and between what we were seeing in NVIDIA, right? So we took a look at the NVIDIA chart, and we can see that I have this line up here that I drawn, and it's coming up to there. So a ton of confluence across all of these different tickers. Still holding some Tesla runners, still holding NVIDIA calls, which are kind of flat right now, but we expect those to do well post earnings. We'll see. And again, this isn't really an earnings play. These are dated in December. These are December contracts that I expect are going to do well. So regardless of what happens in earnings, they'll probably burn up a lot of premium. People who buy contracts right around earnings, and then I think we'll get some nice little move towards 600 and get some green. I'll take profits and then reevaluate. So let's go back to ES and again talk about kind of just a recap of the CPI price action and kind of how you could have known that this was going to happen. So again, macro, on the macro, we had two kind of consolidation expansion patterns. There's that one here. We have this very clear flag. We're on the 8-hour now, which we broke out of. We're looking for a liquidity sweep. We swept this liquidity. We're going higher, and then our next target is going to be based off of what we see on the daily. Go over to the daily time frame, which was over here. We'll open our daily chart up, and you can see I've already done some charting, and I have a 4600 macro thesis. It's not going to be a straight line, right? We'll have some zigzags up. That's what I'm looking for. So all of that, because of my super macro thesis of what I saw on the daily, the weekly, actually I do weekly, you see I have the dates that these low value nodes formed, and the monthly, I think that we're going higher. And that is how I traded CPI this time. Didn't even worry about it. So that's kind of like a trade review slash kind of market review, video in general. Hopefully that gives you some insight into my thought process and how I trade. If you're trading futures, Apex is a great day. You could have went long on some micros, and let's see how long you would have, if you just went long on 2 MES today. Let's go here and let's go to the, not the daily, let's go to the 5 minute. So if you would have went long on 2 MES, 94 points, you would have made $9,400. FOREX, which is more than probably a lot of people made today, you know, trying to be contrarian and all that. 2 MES, those are $5 a point, 2 of those $10 a point, $10 times 94, simple math, $940. Could have did it, I didn't, because I sold, but that's okay. I had other positions that did well today, so that's fine. And I was also very, very busy today doing the old W-2, which I still do, by the way. A lot of you may not even know, I'm in tech sales. I'm a tech guy, I'm a software engineer by trade, doing tech sales. I worked at a startup and doing that whole game. So have my hands in all types of stuff. I also do real estate, which we won't get into on this channel. We're niching down. We're keeping this channel very, very focused nowadays so we can grow, but I do all types of stuff. If you want to get more info about me and my life and all the other things I have my hands in, follow me on Instagram, link is below. But that is it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment, do a backflip, feed a homeless person, do something good, hug your mom. Peace.